Hello, everyone. Welcome into Yelling from the Couch. I'm Brent Humphreys, joined by my co-host, Joey Mullins. Joey, this is week 2 of college football coming up, man. Exciting week 1, and we're about to have some football again this weekend. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Enjoying it, man. Looking forward to watching games. Got those days at work and it's football day, and you're like, let's get this day over with. I want to watch some football.
We got plenty of it this weekend. It started last night with the Chiefs knocking off the Ravens in dramatic fashion. That's the NFL. The very last play, Isaiah Likely, if he was shoe size shorter than what he was by like one, he's in, and that's a touchdown. And Baltimore's going for 2 to win the game at that point. What'd you think about the game last night, Joey?
It was definitely entertaining. Yeah, and it was. There was some bad decisions by the Ravens a few times. Like not showing no urgency, not hurrying up to the line. Fourth quarter, down 10. I mean, one time out. You can't stop the clock. I mean, they got to iron that kind of stuff out. But it was an entertaining game.
Yeah, for sure it was. And Lamar, he missed a few throws there at the end. He about got Likely taken out. And and then Likely came back in after that. But Zay Flowers in the end zone back there, wide open, and he just misses him. But as a Louisville hater, that's typical Lamar. He's going to choke. It's a little early though for that choke job, but entertaining game. There's another game tonight: Green Bay and Philly in Brazil, and the players are like afraid to leave the hotel. So that's kind of interesting to see how that's going to be. But can't wait to see that game. Should be a good one. Get the weekend started off. Don't usually have NFL Friday, but it's good to have this time.
Yeah, I like it.
And then Saturday, we've got college football. Last week we made picks in college football. I went 14-4 last week in my picks. Not bad, pretty good. Florida kind of let me down there a little bit. Texas A&M. You, Joey, you went 14-4 as well. West Virginia.
Wow.
West Virginia was your big one that kind of messed you up there. Florida, you had as well. But we were, pretty much in agreement on most of them. We had a few that we, was going against. Like you picked Notre Dame, I picked Texas A&M. You picked West Virginia, I picked Penn State. So I mean,
yeah, they let me down.
Yeah, so we both, we's going to be wrong on one of them there. So that was how it was. But 14-4 is not bad at all.
No, not at all.
Also, if you listen to us on here and used us as betting advice, the Iowa under, we told you to lock it in. Iowa under's hitting, and the Iowa under hit. 40.5 was the over under, and they scored 40. So it hits.
It hits again.
And also we had Oklahoma State. We told you that was another lock. 10.5 over South Dakota State. And they covered the spread. It was a low spread, and they done it. So if you parlay those two together, thank you, Yelling from the Couch. You're welcome.
Yep, yes.
So this Saturday, we'll start off with a big top 10 matchup for the first game. And it is the number 3 Texas Longhorns traveling to the Big House to face number 10 Michigan. Texas is a 7-point favorite in Michigan, 42 over and under. Joey, what do you think about this top 10 matchup to start the day off Saturday?
Man, what a way to start the day at high noon. I mean, my goodness. Well, I mean, this game for me is a little hard to pick. I mean, I kind of lean towards Texas myself. I think it's going to be an entertaining game, a close game. And I'm probably going to say, man, the over-under is 42.5. I can see that. I can see that in this game. I mean, Texas can score. Ewers, I mean, everybody knows he's a great quarterback, but I think I'm going to take Texas in this one. I think, but it's going to be close. But I'm going to take the over 42.5.
I'm rolling with Texas too, but I think they pound Michigan. Michigan, has got a kind of revamped team there. They got different players. They struggled last week against Fresno State. It was 13-3 going, or 13-7 going into the fourth quarter, one of the two, and then they were
Mm-hmm.
pulling out, pulling away at the end. But Texas has a lot of guys back. Ewers, the running back there that they've got. I'm losing track of his name right now. But they've got a lot of pieces there, and they put up a lot of points. They looked pretty good last week. It was against Colorado State, but I think that they just go in there this time to Michigan. Michigan's not the same as last year, and I think Texas wins. I think Texas covers, and I'll take the over on that 42.5. But give me the Longhorns in this one, man. It should be a good game at high noon.
I think it will be. Like I said, the only reason why I say it's going to be close, it's I know it's each of their team's second game of the year, but as we can see already with what few days of football we've had at the craziness that's already happened in NFL and in college, so you never know.
So the next matchup, 12 o'clock, the Bowling Green Falcons travel to number 8 Penn State Nittany Lions. Penn State's a 35-point favorite. 49.5 is the over-under. Joey, you went against Penn State last week. You want to go against it again this week?
That would be a negative. I'm definitely got Penn State winning. I don't know for sure about that over, because I think Penn State's going to pull away so far that they're just the scoring's just going to kind of slow down. But I'm going to say Penn State can cover that. I can see them being up 35-0 in the fourth quarter or third quarter. I mean, no knock against Bowling Green, but I think it's just a landslide for Penn State. I mean, I know they're yeah, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take Penn State to cover and the under.
I like Penn State in this too. As I mentioned last week, Penn State seems like they only lose 2 games a year, and it's usually Michigan and Ohio State. And Bowling Green,
Yeah.
once again, is not one of those teams. They are from Ohio, but they are not one of those 2 teams. I
No.
like Penn State to cover that spread, and that over-under is a little high. I mean, maybe 42-7, and then we're under. But, I mean, it'll be close to it. But Bowling Green, I mean, they're 1-0, but, I mean, I'm not really sure who they played. But Penn State, I think, is going to win this. Tickets are as low as $5 if you want to head to it. But give
Yeah.
me the Nittany Lions in this one, and Penn State to continue their good start to the season. The next matchup, 12 o'clock game, the Arkansas Razorbacks travel to Oklahoma State, number 16 Cowboys. Oklahoma State's a 7.5-point favorite. The over-under 62.5. Joey, what do you think about this one?
I'm gonna take Oklahoma State in this one. I think. I don't think. I mean, I think it's gonna be a semi-close game. I don't really see. Like a Bowling Green Penn State. I'm not gonna say I could see a 35-0 at any time. The over/under 62.5. My goodness, that. I'm gonna have to go under in this one. I mean, I know Oklahoma State can score points, and like I said, we're so early in the year. They've all only played one game. Like, there's not a whole lot of stats you can really go over and say, well, judging by the previous, 5 games, this, quarterback's done this.
Mm-hmm.
You're basically just going on the eye test of one game. But yeah, give me Oklahoma State, and give me the under in this game. Not sure about the spread. 7.5. I mean, I could see, a 5-6 point game down the stretch in this, but yeah, give me the under, give me Oklahoma State. What do you think about the spread?
I think Arkansas will probably cover that spread. This is going to be a close game. Oklahoma State's 7.5-point favorite. They kind of got a little disrespected last week with the 10.5, but this one I think they're maybe getting a little bit too much credit for it. But it's close. But when it's close like that, you go with which team has the best player, and Oklahoma State, Ollie Gordon. He had 126 rushing yards last week, 3 touchdowns. He's one of the best running backs coming back. I think him and Hampton from North Carolina are the 2 returning backs are the best from last year. They've got him, and Arkansas doesn't. So I think Oklahoma State wins. The over-under 62.5. I could see that happening because those teams, I mean, Oklahoma State especially, can score. I'll say they'll go over, but I think Arkansas keeps it close. But Oklahoma wins it. Tickets are as low as $101 if you want to head to Stillwater for Saturday.
Yeah.
The next matchup, 12 o'clock, the number 17 Kansas State Wildcats travel to New Orleans to face the Tulane Green Wave. Kansas State's a 9-point favorite. The over-under is 47.5. Joey, you think Tulane has a shot at home against them?
I think they got a shot. I mean, this definitely ain't no David versus Goliath. I mean, I think they got a shot. I mean, do I think they'll do it? I doubt it. I had this circled, and I was leaning toward this being my sleeper pick, my upset, if you will. But I don't know. I think I've changed my mind. I think I'm going to go with my instinct. I'm going to take Kansas State. I'm going to take the over in this one, though.
So last week, Tulane, they beat somebody like 52-0. And Tulane's coach, John Sumrall, who used to be linebacker coach for Kentucky, said that his team played like crap. I mean, okay,
Wow.
you just won 52-0. So I don't know. I mean, that's like a Nick Saban kind of move right there. Hey, we beat this team really bad, but we played horrible. We got to clean it up and get better. Oh man, if you got to get any better than that, I mean, wow. Kansas State coming in on the road, kind of dangerous. A noon game like that. I'm going to take the upset in this one. Give me the Green Wave to upset Kansas State, and the under is going to hit in this one. Yeah, give me the Green Wave. That's my first upset pick of the week. Yeah, there we go.
Oh boy.
The next 12 o'clock.
I was leaning towards it. I don't know. I changed my mind last minute.
Yeah, I'm just sitting there. I don't know. I could be wrong, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. The next matchup, number 23, Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets travel to Syracuse to face the Syracuse Orange. Georgia Tech's a 3-point favorite. 60.5 is the over-under. Joey, do you like Syracuse as a home dog?
No. I'm taking Georgia Tech to cover the 3-point spread as well. I mean, Georgia Tech, their quarterback, King, he threw 421 yards last game. So he definitely likes to throw the ball. But yeah, give me Georgia Tech in this one to cover the 3-point spread. Yeah, I'm not sold on Syracuse, even though they're at home.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Georgia Tech in this one. Not because I think Georgia Tech is good or anything, but Syracuse just, I don't know. It's anytime you talk about Syracuse football, it's just like, yeah.
Yeah.
They do have Kyle McCord up there, and he was not good last year. So, I mean, he's like the perfect Syracuse quarterback, just a middle-of-the-pack quarterback for a middle-of-the-pack team. Georgia Tech, they've got a little momentum now. They're going up there. Give me the Yellow Jackets in this ACC top 25 matchup. The next game is going to be a dandy. The Tennessee Tech, what is their mascot? This is a good one.
I do.
I don't know. Looks like an eagle of some sort. And I'm sorry for any Tennessee Tech fans that are offended by this. They travel to Athens to face the number 1 Georgia Bulldogs. Georgia is a 54.5-point favorite. 62.5 is the over-under. Joey, do you like Georgia to cover? Because we know it's not happening for an upset here.
Yeah, it's man. So, honestly, I can see them covering this. It would not shock me to turn this game on in the fourth quarter and then be up 55-0. So, yeah, I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go with it. I think Georgia will do it. I think they'll cover. I mean, they could probably put their third string in and just about cover this spread if they wanted to. But yeah, give me Georgia to cover in this one.
I like Georgia as well. That's a huge spread, but I think Georgia will cover it too, and I think the under will hit because it's going to be like 59-0.
Yep.
There's not much to say else on this, but Georgia wins this week, and if Kentucky wins this week, game day may be coming to Lexington next week, so we'll see. That'll be pretty cool. But give me the dogs in this one to roll early and quickly. Swift beat
Yeah.
them. Sorry,
Yes.
Tennessee Tech. The Tennessee Tech, whatever you are, it really won't matter.
No.
The next matchup, we go outside of the top 25 to talk the Charlotte 49ers travel to Chapel Hill to face the North Carolina Tar Heels. North Carolina is a 22.5-point favorite. 47.5 is the over-under. Joey, do you like your Tar Heels to cover that spread?
Oh, I do like it. And I think they're going to get their quarterback situation figured out. You got, all the players, coaches, they're going to have to get around the backup and be like, look, this has got to happen. It's you now. We trust you. It just, man, if we did not have quarterback problems this year, the damage we could do in the ACC. I mean, my goodness. I mean, we've got everything else we need. The defense is decent. Not great at times, but decent. If we just only didn't have quarterback problems. But, yeah, give me my Tar Heels and to cover.
Yeah, the ACC's fairly down this year. Like you said, if you had Drake May this year, I mean, it'd be, pretty good for you. Connor Harrell, I assume, is starting for him this week. The sophomore quarterback. I like Carolina to win this one, and I like them to cover that spread because I think they're going to come out and they're going to show something a little bit different. He's going to have a whole week, almost a week and a half to prepare with the first team. So I like them to do that. I think that, they've got a few games here, kind of an easy schedule coming up. So, he'll get better each week until they, play Duke there in that week 5 matchup. But give me the Tar Heels, and I'll take the under because that's kind of high, and that would, what do you think about the over under? You think that they can cover the over under? It's 47.5.
I'm with you on it. I'm gonna take the under. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, because Carolina, the bulk of their offense now is give it to Hampton, give it to Hampton. Well, at least it was in the last game. But like you said, you got this stretch of 2 or 3 games here where Harrell can build up some confidence. Start getting confident in his throws, trusting his O line. So I think we'll put it together. I think we'll be all right.
Yeah. I'll win that one there. And the next 3:30 matchup, we go from your team to my team. Last week, we got to talk a little bit about your team's performance after their game in Minnesota. So this week, we haven't talked since Kentucky beat Southern Miss in what was a wild, weird night in Lexington, Kentucky with all the lightning delays and all that. They didn't get started until after 10. They played 35 minutes of gameplay. Kentucky was up 31-0, and lightning strikes again, and they decide to call it a game. Joey, what did you think of Kentucky's performance last week against Southern Miss in a weird night in Lexington?
I mean, I was, I expected them to play well, and they played well. I mean, they had flashes of a couple mental mistakes, but like the turnover, but then they end up getting it right back. So their defense made that right, but I expect them to play well, and I still expect them to play well. I look for them to have a good year. I really do. But yeah, it was definitely a weird night with the delays. And I mean, the game didn't start till almost like it was after 10 o'clock right at it. And then, didn't even get to finish the game. So,
No.
yeah, it was definitely a weird situation. But I'm looking forward to this week to see Kentucky maybe play a whole game, like a normal start time, and get to play the whole game.
That's why you really can't judge like the play calling and all that, because I'm like, man, there's a lot of jet sweeps going on right now. I was like, I know they're trying to do, trying to get Barry on Brown out there in some space, but man,
Yeah.
we really have to run 10 jet sweeps like in a row just about. I mean, not really, but and then Brock Vandegrift, he looked pretty decent, throwing the ball, and he would take off and he would run. Like he wasn't afraid to go run. Unlike a quarterback we'll talk about after a while, he wasn't afraid to go scramble. And he ran over some guys. Like he was looking to run over some guys. Like, all right, guy, I get it, but slide, maybe slide. Okay, we want to keep you healthy. The SEC's coming up. You can't be trying to run over these SEC defenders because you're going to get hurt.
Absolutely.
Slide. But
Yeah,
I
he
think
took off on one scramble, man, and I remember seeing it, and I'm like, okay, he's gonna slide, but no, he took the ball over his shoulder, and I'm like, oh my,
yeah.
like easy there, Trigger, calm down.
It's like I like that attitude and everything. I'm glad he's
Yeah,
fearless. But I mean, maybe don't do it so much. Kind of calm down a little bit out there. Like you said, easy, big fella.
easy, big fella.
So we'll turn now to Saturday, and the South Carolina Gamecocks at 3:30 head to Lexington to face the Kentucky Wildcats. Kentucky's an 8.5-point favorite. 42.5 is the over/under. Joey, do you like Kentucky to cover the spread in this one?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I like Kentucky to cover the spread. Like I said, they're gonna have a good year, and Mark Stoops is a great coach. I mean, what he's done and what he's put together at Kentucky is, I mean, I think it's phenomenal. But yeah, give me Kentucky to cover the spread, and of course for them to win.
Yeah, I've got Kentucky covering the spread too. South Carolina last week against Old Dominion, which Old Dominion's kind of like the same as Southern Miss. South Carolina barely pulled out that win at home. They won by 4. Old Dominion had 2 key turnovers in that last quarter, which South Carolina capitalized on to win the game.
Yep.
I don't think Steve Urkel, their quarterback with the glasses, is going to do much damage against Kentucky. He's just, South Carolina is just not very good this year, I don't think. But give me the Cats in this one. The spread was 10 yesterday, so it's been bet down. Some people's, some money coming in on the Cocks. I think that Kentucky will cover that 8.5-point spread. The over/under, man, I'm going to say give me the under in this one. Kentucky will win maybe 24-14. It'll be enough to cover the spread. Give me the Cats. And now we head to the next 3:30 matchup. We jump back into the top 25. Northern Illinois Wolfpack. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is it?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Oh man.
Sorry, Northern Illinois.
Yeah, I've got to get these mid-major guys again with the mascots. Man, I used to be good at these. They go to South Bend, Indiana, to face the number 5 Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Notre Dame's a 28-point favorite. Over/under's 44.5. Joey, what do you think about this one?
I think Notre Dame has got this locked up. I think Northern Illinois is going to put up a little more of a fight than what they think. Give me the over in this one, and I don't know if I see Notre Dame covering that spread. Like, I mean, I could see it, but I couldn't see it. I just think I don't know. I've just got a feeling it's going to be a little more competitive. But yeah, give me the over and give me Notre Dame to win. What do you think about the spread? 28-point spread. Do you think Notre Dame cover that?
Well, I was going to say last week I picked against Notre Dame. I picked the Aggies, Texas A&M, to beat Notre Dame. Did I learn my lesson from last week? Well, I'm going to go with Northern Illinois in this one to cover the spread. To cover the spread. I'm not picking them to win. I
Oh, I
think
was holding my breath. I was holding my breath there for a minute. I was like, "Oh boy."
he's lost his mind. No,
Oh.
Northern Illinois, I think, will cover that spread. That's a high spread. Notre Dame is not known for their offense, as we seen last week. If a couple of guys put a bet on that game and they picked the over between Notre Dame and Texas A&M, they lost. I don't think Riley Leonard is that great of a quarterback. He's going to run around a little bit. I mean, he's decent, but and Notre Dame's got a pretty good defense. I think that the under is going to hit in this one, and I think that Notre Dame will win, but give me the Northern Illinois cover. The next matchup, at 3:30, the Baylor Bears travel to Utah to face the number 11 Utah Utes. Utah's a 14.5-point favorite, 56.5 the over/under. Joey, do you think Baylor can cover that 14.5?
No, I'm taking Utah for the 14.5 on this one. But I'm going to go with the under on this one. I think 56.5 is a little high for those teams, but yeah, give me Utah. Give me the 14.5. I would feel comfortable putting that in a bet slip.
Give me Utah too. I think that they cover. Utah, like Cam Rising, is in his 7th season of college football, so he's an experienced veteran. He's going to lead his team out there. Baylor just, they won last week, but it's not the same Baylor that it was a few years ago.
No.
Give me the under 2 on this game, but I think that that 14.5 definitely gets covered, and it may get covered, early. Give me the Utes. Next matchup, 3:30. It's the battle of the whatever state Iowa's called. Is it the Hawkeye State? It might be the Hawkeye State. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I think it is.
Battle of the Hawkeye State. The Iowa State Cyclones travel to Iowa City to face the number 21 Iowa Hawkeyes. Iowa is a 3-point favorite. The over-under is 35.5. Joey, what do you think about this? And would you take the under in this Iowa game?
I definitely would. I'm definitely probably going to take that under literally myself Saturday. But yeah, give me the spread for Iowa and the under. I mean, bad as I hate to say it, there's been very, very few times that we've ever seen Iowa score a lot of points, because they just slow the pace of the game down. That's why the unders usually most of the time hit in their games. They just slow the pace, the whole rhythm of the game, But yeah, give me Iowa, 3-point spread. Give me the under.
I like Iowa in this one to cover too. I see this game like 17-14, 17-10. So once again, I'm not going to put a lock on this one because 35.5 is really low, but I would feel comfortable putting the under on this one. I mean, as long as Iowa keeps scoring these like this, that under is going to keep creeping down every week until it's like, okay, this is ridiculous. Like 17 for an over and under. Are you kidding me? And then it's 6-3 Iowa wins, when they cover. But
Yeah.
I'm going under on this one too, but not as confident as I was last week in the under, but I'm still pretty confident in it. But I think Iowa wins the battle of the Hawkeye State. Boring football is
But,
pretty much what we could call it. Boring football. That's what it is.
yeah. But the thing is, that's what we were, I don't know if I actually said it, but I should have said it last week. The first couple Iowa games, first maybe 3, you got a good shot at taking the under because like you said, after you get to the 4th and 5th game of the year, that under is going to start going down. It's going to get bet down, way down because a lot of people will take the under in their game. So last week and this week's a pretty good chance. So if you want to add that to your bet slip on a parlay, that'd be a good one to add.
It would be. And now we go to the next 3:30 game, and it's the Jacksonville State. Oh man, what is?
I have no idea.
I don't either. Man, Jacksonville State Jaguars. No, I know that's not right. They travel to Louisville, Kentucky, to face the number 22 Louisville Cardinals, who are somehow ranked. Louisville's a 27.5 point spread. 56 is the over under. Joey, before we talk about this game, how crappy do you think it is that Louisville's ranked after losing to a Kentucky team last year? Kentucky's still unranked, but Louisville's ranked. What do you think about Louisville getting ranked this week?
I'm like you. I'm how? Like somehow you said it best. Somehow they're ranked. um, I don't know, man. I don't. I don't see them being a top 25 team. I just don't. I don't see it whatsoever. I don't even know if I see them being a top 30 team. What do you think about it?
Oh, you probably already know what I think about it. Like I said, Louisville, they beat some, school last week, whoever it was, nobody big. They weren't ranked, and then all of a sudden they get ranked. They had a record last year. They were like 10-2. They thought that they were going to go places. They thought they were going to be in consideration for the playoff. And then, Kentucky kind of smacked them down at the end of the year, brought them back to reality. And then they're like, okay, we're still in the ACC championship. We're facing Florida State without Jordan Travis. We'll win this game. No, they lost that too. And then they lost to USC in the bowl game. So 3 straight losses to end the year. How in the world did they think that this team deserves to be in the top 25? And they're going to have a weak schedule. They're not playing any big teams in the ACC this year. So they're going to probably have a good record again. And then when they come and play Kentucky at the end of the year, Kentucky's going to bring them back to reality and beat them again at the end of the
Yeah.
year. But for this game here, I think Louisville will win. I think Louisville will cover. I picked Jacksonville State to beat somebody last week, and they really let me down like bad. So I'll go with Louisville in this one to cover, and I think that I think the over hits in this one. What do you think?
I'm with you. I'm with you. I think the over is going to hit in this one. I agree with you. And I agree with everything you said about Louisville, too. I mean, they beat, nobody last week and unranked, and now they're ranked. Like, I don't agree with that, but oh well, it is what it is, I guess.
Unranked and they didn't beat anybody. Like I could get it if they would have beat somebody, but
Yeah.
they didn't beat nobody. But it is what it is. They made their picks, so here we go. We'll make ours on here. The next matchup, 4:15. The Middle Tennessee State Blue Raiders. There's a mid-major I knew. They travel to number 6 Ole Miss, the Ole Miss Rebels. Ole Miss is a 43-point favorite. 62.5 the over/under. Tickets are $5. Joey, do you like Ole Miss to cover that big spread after the big game they had last week?
I do. I can see them covering that. I like it, and yeah, I got them winning. Give me the under though. 62.5. That's to me. That's a lot.
Well, Ole Miss, I believe, scored 76 last week against Furman. Give me Ole Miss in this one. I think they cover that spread, and I think they hit the over on this. Just because Lane Kiffin's going to step on somebody's throat, and he's just going to stay on. He's not. He doesn't care. He wants to put up points. They're number 6. He's trying to prove a point, and he's going to beat up on these smaller schools at the beginning of the year. Give me the Rebels in this one. Give me the over, and give me the cover on that. Or not. Give me Ole Miss to cover the 43. I think it's going to be a beatdown. Jackson Dart, he threw 418 yards last week, 5 touchdowns. Talking about betting, there's a team we may want to look at for offensive reasons this year is Ole Miss.
Yes. Definitely from the quarterback position.
The next matchup, the Florida A&M Rattlers. There's another one I knew, yeah. They travel to number 12, Miami, to face the Miami Hurricanes. There is no spread or no over-under on this game. It's that bad. Joey, what do you think about this matchup?
Miami by 1,000,000. I mean, literally. I mean, Richardson threw for 568 yards and 6 touchdowns last week. So, I mean, it's Miami by 1,000,000. There's no wonder they don't have a spread or anything on there.
Yeah, there's a reason there's no spread on this game right here. Last week, I think we both learned our lesson. We both picked against Miami. and
Mm-hmm.
they come out and they pounded Florida. Like Florida's like the laughing stock of college football, which is hilarious right now. But Miami did that to them, and
Yes.
we kind of did like you. Miami ain't the U like they was. Well, they're going to look like the U this week against Florida A&M. Uh, so give me Miami in this one, and I like Miami to cover whatever spread they ever wanted to put out on this.
Yes.
The next matchup, 7 o'clock, the South Florida Bulls travel to Tuscaloosa to face the number 4 Alabama Crimson Tide. Alabama's a 31-point favorite. The over/under 63.5. Joey, there was a game a couple years ago where Alabama played South Florida, and the game was like 17-10, and people thought Alabama had fell off. Do you think South Florida can play Alabama close again this year, or do you think Alabama is just too much for them?
I just think Alabama's too much for them. I don't think it's going to be that close of a game, but I don't know if I see Alabama covering the 31-point spread. I think it's going to be a little more respectable than 31 points, but I do see Alabama winning at least by a couple of touchdowns. But I don't know if I see it 31. I don't know how you feel about the spread for Alabama, but I don't see that myself.
Yeah, it looks like maybe a 49-17 game, and they they cover it, but I don't know. I think Alabama 42-17. I mean, sorry, and South Florida covers it, but Alabama's going to win this game. It's not going to be close like it was a few years ago. Milroe's got a couple of years experience under his belt now. Though Alabama looked good last week, but I think that South Florida just don't have it. Going into Tuscaloosa is going to be a tough ask for them at night.
Mm-hmm.
Alabama's going to win. Alabama's going to roll tide here. The under is hitting in this game. They're not going to go over 63.5, I don't think.
I agree 100%.
The next matchup, the Buffalo Bulls travel to number 9 Missouri to face the Missouri Tigers. Missouri's a 34.5-point favorite. The over-under is 51.5. Joey, do you like Buffalo to pull an upset in Missouri?
I do not. I do not. I got Missouri in this one. Over under 51.5. I mean, I don't know. That's kind of in the mid. I'm gonna say Missouri will cover this spread, 34.5. I'm gonna say they'll cover it, and yeah, I think it's gonna be a beatdown.
I think it is too. Missouri's good. They're a good team this year. I think that they'll cover that spread. I think the over's hitting too because Missouri may get that on their own.
Mm-hmm.
They got a pretty good high-powered offense. Give me Missouri in this one, and give me Missouri on all of it to cover. And the over hits for these teams here. Tigers win. The next matchup, number 19 Kansas Jayhawks travel to Illinois to face the Illinois Fighting Illini. Kansas is a 4.5-point favorite. 57.5 is the over/under. Joey, do you like Kansas to continue climbing the ranks of the top 25?
I don't know if they'll continue to climb them all year, but for the sake of this game, I do like Kansas as the 4.5 favorite. I think they'll definitely cover that. Um, yeah. Now the over under is 57.5. I don't know about that. I would probably say the under, but definitely give me Kansas on the spread. Grimm had a good game last game. 6 carries, 111 yards, and a touchdown. So they got the running game going. So give me Kansas.
Give me the Illini to win this one. They're going to pull off the home upset. It's the first sellout that Illinois has had in I forget how long, a long time, and it's against Kansas. Like of all teams, you're going to sell out against Kansas football. Give me Illinois to win this one. I'll take the over too. I think it's going to be kind of a shootout in this game right here. Kansas played like a made up school last week and pounded them. Well, Illinois is not a made up school. I mean, they're not great, but it's an actual school unlike Lindenwood.
Yeah.
Give me the Illini with the home upset. Let's go.
Ooh, I got a shot maybe of breaking this tie from last week. We were both 16-4. Maybe you got two upsets. I might have a shot.
We'll
No,
see.
no. I mean, I'm not saying Illinois don't have a chance. They do, but we'll see.
Well, with this slate, I mean, it's kind of a weak slate, for football this week. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of top 25 against a lot of nobodies for the most part. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to,
Like the next. Yeah,
like the next one. Here comes another
like the
nobody.
next.
The Western Michigan Broncos travel to the Horseshoe to face the number 2 Ohio State Buckeyes in Columbus. Ohio State's a 38-point favorite. 54.5 is the over-under. Joey, Ohio State kind of started slow last week. Do you look for them to get a little faster start this week and cover that spread, or what are you thinking?
Absolutely. I think they're going to jump out of the gate like normal this time. Um, you're right. They did have a slow start, but I mean, they pulled away, and they can't have slow starts like that later on in the year. When you're going to be playing a lot better teams, you got to get in the habit of coming out. I don't care if you're playing Western Michigan or whoever. You got to come out, play your game right off the rip. Don't take nobody lightly. But yeah, I think they'll get it going. I think they'll cover the 37.5 point spread.
I'm with you too. They're going to want to prove a point here, and they're going to want to prove it this week. They're just going to keep getting better, I think. They got a freshman wide receiver over there that they really like. The Travion Henderson, he's back for running back. They got the transfer Will Howard from Kansas State quarterback. I think that they're going to be way too much for Western Michigan, and I think that they'll win. They cover the spread, and I think the over is going to hit too because it's one of them games where they're just going to come out and want to pound them. So I got the
Yep.
Buckeyes. We're going to go out of the top 25 once again to bring up one of our favorites that we like to talk about on this podcast, and that is Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes. This is a big
Oh boy.
game. Traveling to Lincoln, stinking Lincoln, Nebraska, to face the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Nebraska is a 7-point favorite. The over-under in this one is 56.5. Joey, what do you think about Coach Prime and the boys?
I think they're going to cover it all. I mean, I was amazed last week. I mean, we talked about it. We're like, my goodness, we might have found our organ from last year. Um, but yeah. Give me Colorado to cover everything, and give me the over.
Once again, Joey, I'm going to go against what you're saying here. I'm picking Nebraska to
Oh
win,
boy.
but give me Colorado to cover, and give me the over in this one. Last year, Colorado beat Nebraska in kind of a shocker earlier in the year, and we're like, okay, Colorado may have something, and then they went like 1-9 the rest of the season. But this year, I think that Nebraska is going to want to get a little bit of revenge on them, but and Colorado's O-line is still going to be a big issue for Shadur Sanders. He can't keep continuing to take those big hits that he's been taking and think that everything's going to be okay. But I
Yeah.
think Travis Hunter, that's another thing. Like you can't play him 30 snaps every game on both sides of the ball. Got to give the guy a break, play him here and there on defense, and same on offense. But I think it may come back to bite him this week. And I've got the Cornhuskers winning at home, but a Colorado cover.
Hey, we'll see.
We'll see. The next matchup is a SEC ACC top 25 matchup with the number 14 low down dirty snitching Tennessee Volunteers. They travel to Charlotte to face the number 24 North Carolina State Wolfpack. Tennessee's a 10-point favorite. 60.5 is the over-under. Tennessee is 8-8 against top 25 teams under Josh Heupel. North Carolina State has lost 3 in a row in Charlotte. Joey, what do you like? What do you think about this matchup?
Well, I got North Carolina State winning this. They're at home. That's. I think that's gonna. Well, that's technically wouldn't be an upset like you picked, but yeah, give me NC State in this game, and give me the over 60.5. Both teams can score. Um, yeah, give me NC State.
I really like your pick, but Tennessee looked really good last week against it was Chattanooga, granted. North Carolina State kind of struggled against Western Carolina, but it's kind of weird. One of the teams I hate the most, Tennessee, I'm about ready to pick them to win this game and to cover a spread. You're a North Carolina fan, and one of your rivals is North Carolina State, and you pick them to win this game. So it's kind of weird that you pick one of your rivals to win, I pick one of my rivals to win in a game against each other. It's really weird, but I'm taking the Vols in this one. I don't like doing it. Don't get me wrong on that. I don't like it at all, and I don't like how good they looked last week. It's kind of scary.
Yeah,
But hopefully, it was just. I mean, we'll see what they really got this week against a real team. But they put up a lot of points last week in early. But I think the Vols win, and I'm going to take them to cover the spread. I think they win by 2 touchdowns in this one.
fair enough.
Weird.
I'm like, but I don't like Tennessee either. So this was
Yeah.
kind of a hard pick for me the way I went. But
Yeah.
yeah,
It's still weird.
we'll
Oh,
see.
that's the Duke Mayo's Classic, by the way, if anybody's counting at home. Uh,
Yeah,
the next matchup is maybe the biggest game of the week. We've got Nichols, pennies, dimes, whatever their nickname is. They go against number 18 LSU Tigers. LSU coming off a loss last week to USC. LSU's a 51.5 point favorite. The over-under
ah,
61.5. Joey, do you like LSU to come out and just pound Nichols?
yes, I do. They're going to pound nickels, dimes, quarters, whatever they can do. You know, they're definitely going to have change for a dollar when the game's over. And I think they'll cover that spread. I mean, after losing last week, they're you know this better not even be a close game at all at any point in time, other than the opening kickoff, or the LSU fans might lose their sanity.
LSU last week, they had the most entertaining game of the weekend against
Yeah,
USC. What a great game. Uh, you know, we may have had, a little bit of bets on that game there. Might not have worked out. But there was some offense going on there. I think
yeah,
it's a lot more offense this time. LSU is going to come out. They're going to be pissed, and they're going to play, mad. And sorry for poor Nichols. Brian Kelly was so mad last week. He slammed the table. Wow, yeah, it's fake anger. But there's going to be real anger from those
yeah.
years this week against Nichols. And like I said, poor Nichols, dimes, pennies, quarters, half dollars. I think that they're going to win and they're going to cover that spread. I, however, think it's going to be an under on that 61.5. It's going to be like 56-0. That's what I'm kind of thinking. The next matchup, the Houston Cougars travel to number 15 to face the Oklahoma Sooners. Oklahoma's a 28-point favorite, 49.5 the over-under. Joey, what conference is Oklahoma in?
Oh my goodness. Well, let me make my pick. uh, no, Oklahoma. I don't know. They seem to be in the middle of the pack almost every year. I've just noticed that. It's like they're within that 10 to 18 to 19 ranking every year. They're consistent. Over under is 50 in this game. Well, 49.5, but still. Um, Give me Oklahoma. I don't think they're going to cover the 28-point spread. I think it'll be a little closer. And, and give me the under, the 49.5.
Yeah, give me Oklahoma to win this one. I don't think they cover either. I don't think Oklahoma's particularly that great this year. We'll see
Mm-mm.
how they fare in the SEC this season. The under, I think, is going to get hit, but I think covers, but Oklahoma wins it. So that's that one there. The next matchup is what I think is a pretty intriguing matchup here. The Appalachian State Mountaineers travel to Clemson, South Carolina to face the number 25 Clemson Tigers. Clemson's a 16.5-point favorite. 52.5 is the over-under. Joey, what do you think about this one?
This one's going to be hard to call, for me anyway. like sitting looking at it on paper, you would think, Clemson, they're. But I don't know. I'm like you. This is an intriguing one. What do you think about it first? Let's let you go first on this one, since this is an intriguing one to me.
So Clemson last week gets crushed by Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And then in turn, Dabo gets crushed for not taking transfers and not paying players and all that. And, you got to be able to adjust. Appalachian State, they're known for coming out and playing bigger schools tough. Appalachian State's played Carolina tough several times.
Yes. I
They're
call them jump killers.
yeah, they I think that Clemson's probably going to come out this week, and I think App State will cover, but give me Clemson for the win at home. But it's going to be a lot closer than what the spread is, I believe. And I'm going to take the 52.5. I'm going to take the under on that. Clemson wins, but App State keeps it really close. What do you think, Joey?
I agree. I agree with that. Yeah, I can see that. 52.5 is kind of high on the over-under. But yeah. But I think it's going to be a lot closer than what, that's on paper. So, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think that's one to kind of keep an eye on there, that one there. Because, it wouldn't surprise me if App State comes out and pulls off an upset, and then all of a sudden Clemson's looking like Florida State out here in the ACC.
Yeah. Oh, my.
Well, while we're talking about it, while I just brought it up, Florida State last week. What else is there to say about Florida State, man? Is the season over with for Florida State? Their playoff hopes are pretty much dashed, gone. See ya. Losing to Boston College at home.
At home.
College at home. Yeah.
Yeah, that. If you'd have told me that, if I hadn't have been looking at the TV and somebody told me, hey, Boston College just beat Florida State at home, I would have been like, no, let me get my phone and look. It's that bad a loss. But yeah, their playoff hopes are pretty much gone, and their season is just about gone.
Yeah.
They're going to have to get some stuff together and try to string together a couple wins or three to get their stuff going. So I don't know. I don't know. I didn't expect it. Let's put it that way. I expect them to struggle a game or two here and there, but not like this.
There was a play in the game where DJU had a guy in the end zone wide open, and he throws it 3 rows up in the stands. That's kind of sums up the whole season so far for Florida State. Did you see what one Florida State fan tweeted out? I think it was 321 Knowles. Did you see what he tweeted out about the BC game?
Mm-mm.
Before the game, he tweeted out, if Florida State happens to lose to Boston College, he said, I will eat dog crap out of a red Solo cup with a spoon. So, naturally, whenever they lost, people's like, all right, we want to see some turds going in some people's mouths, right? Let's see some turds hanging out of this dude's mouth. You want to talk crap? Let's see you eat the crap, Guy deleted his Twitter page. He's out of social media. But I think we need to have people out there finding this guy and be like, you owe us some dog turds, man. You said it. You did.
Out of a red Solo cup.
With a spoon, like you said. Come on. Like
don't be going backsies on it now.
as bad as Florida State played against Georgia Tech, I was like, okay, I would never make a bet like that at that point because, they lose Georgia Tech, they could lose to anybody.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I ain't eating dog crap anyway. But but this guy's like, hey, I'm going to throw it out there to the ether on X and be like, yeah, this is what I'm going to do. And then they lose, and he's like, gone. He just appeared, as my kids say.
Just appeared. Yep.
Oh, wow. The downfall of Florida State.
I wouldn't put something like that out there against Georgia playing anybody. Like, no. Because my luck, as soon as I make that assumption and I make that bet, then You know how that goes. I can ruin anybody's season. Just let me put a bet in on them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I mean, Florida State was on my ban list, and then a buddy of mine convinced me to take them this week against Boston College. Oh man, but never
Who that
again.
buddy was, but
They're banned. Yeah, you might have a
they're
good
back.
idea, Joey, who that was. Oh, so back into the picks here. 10 o'clock matchup. Boise State Broncos after a very impressive game last week. Uh, travel to number 7 to face the Oregon Ducks. Oregon struggled last week with Idaho. Oregon's a 21.5 point favorite. 60.5 is the over under. Joey, what do you think about this one?
I'm gonna say, give me Oregon to win, but they're not covering a 21.5 point spread. I mean, like you said, they struggled with Idaho. You know, Boise State's a little bit better team. But yeah, I don't see that 21.5 point spread being covered. But yeah, give me Oregon to win, and the over under. I'm gonna say give me the under in this one.
I'm going to say give me the over. Oregon, I think, wins. I think Boise covers. Boise State's running back Genty last week, 267 yards rushing, 6 touchdowns for a school record. I don't think he's scoring 6 touchdowns this week against Oregon, but also I don't think Oregon is going to struggle as much as they did last week. Dylan Gabriel threw for 380 yards last week, and he was 41 of 49 passing, and they still barely hung on to beat Idaho at home. Oregon was number 3 in the land last week, and they went down to number 7 after a win. So
Yeah.
people's, they're loving Louisville getting into the thing, but they're kind of hating on Oregon a little bit. But I understand. I mean, you should have pounded that team, and they didn't. But I think they're going to come out. And there's going to be some firepower going in this game. But give me Oregon, Boise State to cover, and over. The next matchup, 10 o'clock, the Northern Arizona team travels to Tucson to face the number 20 Arizona Wildcats. Arizona is a 43.5 point favorite, 64.5 is the over under. Joey, do you think Arizona will cover that 64.5? Well, nah, forget that I said that. Do you think they'll cover that 43.5 point spread?
I think they will. I think they'll cover that, and I say give me the under in this one too. I mean, you're looking at almost 65 points, but I could also see Arizona scoring, you know, 45, 50 points themselves. What do you think? I see you shaking your head. What do
The
you think?
man shaking his head, who bet on Arizona last week, he even did an alternate spread, being like 70 points. That's too much. They played New Mexico State, and the final score ended up being 61-39. They had 100 for the over under. I'm taking the over in this one. Arizona may score 65 on their own. I think that they're going to win this game. I think that they're going to pound Northern Arizona. They're going to cover the spread, and I'm not taking Arizona for an under. Not at this point. Nope. They burnt me last week. I'm not getting burned again. I've learned my lesson. Give me Arizona. Give me the over. That's why I was shaking my head. I was like, nope.
He
Their
said
wide,
he's gonna learn my lesson.
their wide receiver, McMillan, had 304 receiving yards last week and 4 touchdowns. He may double that this week. Not really. But he may get 300 yards again this week coming up against this team. So, no, I can't take him to go under.
Yeah, yeah. I don't blame you. Yeah, I don't blame you.
The last top 25 matchup of the week, 11 o'clock on, and it's weird to say this, the Big Ten network, because USC is a Big Ten team now. The Utah State Aggies travel to LA to face the number 13 USC Trojans. USC is a 28.5 point favorite. The over-under 63.5. Joey, do you think Miller Moss will scramble any in this game? And do you think USC will win?
No, he lets the moss grow under him when it comes to him moving his feet. Yeah, I mean, we watched that LSU USC game last week. Me and you did, and you've seen Miller Moss so many times have wide open lanes in front of him, green grass ahead of him, he will not run. He will not run for nothing. He is definitely a stand back in the pocket, throw the football quarterback. Um, but yeah, I think give me the 28.5 point spread for USC. Um, I know, like I said, he don't scramble, but you know he had 378 yards passing, so he can pass the ball. But yeah, I think USC wins 28.5 point spread. Um, that over under is a little iffy for me. I could go either way. I could see either one hit.
I think USC will cover this. They looked really impressive last week against LSU. The under's hitting in this one, I think. Uh, Miller Moses, as you know, some people may have called him accidentally the other night while watching the game. He's not going to scramble, as you said. He had wide open spaces several times, and he's like, nah, we're chucking it. So he's just going to sit back here and just sling the ball around. If you have him for any kind of rushing yards, like over 11 and a half, take the under because he's not even thinking about it. That never crosses his mind like, hey, I can run past the line of scrimmage. It's like, nope, I'm going to look for this one, this one, this one, this one. I'll throw it. That's it. Like you said, 378 yards passing, a good performance. He only had one touchdown, but I think USC will win this game, and like I said, the under's hitting, but they're definitely covering. So yeah, that's what I. We had some technical difficulties at the end of that episode. Thank you for listening to Yelling from the Couch with me and Joey, College 2, Week 2 football pick'em. We'll see you next week for Week 3. Thanks.